Hi, welcome to the bonus workshop for session 1. These bonus workshops were geared to give you extra practice. In the session, we have a short little workshop time of 10-15 minutes. These are going to give you extra practice on that. These are going to be probably more like 30 minutes. To give you extra practice, we're going to go through different exercises. The exercises that we'll be using for this are downloadable at learnandmasterguitar.com/resources. You'll find all kinds of great resources there. But this is the bonus workshop for session 1. Let's look at what we learned this session. We talked about the parts of the guitar. We learned the names of our strings. We learned proper right and left hand technique, things that are going to build our motor skills. And I tried to get you 2 chords, the C and the G7 chord. The most important skills for you to master in this session are going to be memorizing the names of the strings. That's your biggest priority on this one. Memorize the names of the strings. We're going to be working on gaining control and accuracy of your finger movement. I want you to learn how to form those C and G7 chords correctly. We're not going to worry about playing them and getting them all down just yet and getting that perfected. I want you to form them correctly. That's the first thing. And we'll also learn how to tune your guitar. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we want to start out with is review our names of our strings. Remember, the 6 guitar strings are numbered from thinnest to the thickest string. And each of these strings has a letter name that goes with it. The first string is an E. The second string is a B. The third string is a G. The fourth string is a D. The fifth string is an A. And the sixth string is an E. Let's play those one more time. First string E, B, G, D, A, and low E. Let's do it one more time. Y'all play them with me. E, B, G, D, A, low E. Let's go backwards. E, A, D, G, B, and first string E. Now let's get some practice on all of this. I'm going to ask you some questions as we're learning the names of our strings. The second string is a what? Do you remember what that second string is? B. Remember E, B, G. What about the fourth string? Do you remember what the fourth string is? The fourth string is a D. E, B, G, and D. Let me ask it to you a different way. A G is on what string? Well, let's count it up. E, B, G. That's a third string. And an A is on what string? Count it up. E, B, G, D, A. A is on the fifth string. Let's do our string names one more time. You do them with me. E, B, G, D, A, E. Back down. E, A, D, G, B, and E. Great job. Before we get into playing, let's take a look at what our right hand needs to be doing. This is our right hand with our picking hand. So we're going to talk about right hand technique, how to hold a pick properly. Remember we talked about this? You need to be holding your pick like this. There needs to be about a ½ inch sticking out. Your thumb and your pick are making a right angle. And your first finger is coming out at about a 45-degree angle right there. And you're gripping it with your hand is closed, and these other fingers are just kind of cupped comfortably into your palm. And that's how we hold our pick. So we don't want it out like that, over like that, and we don't want it too shallow like that. We want to hold our pick just like that. I have just a regular medium-sized pick. It's a good pick to start out on. Okay, I'm going to place my pinky on the soundboard. It doesn't matter where. Okay, just let it touch there. You don't need to press hard or anything like that. Just needs to touch. That gives your hand a point of reference. And we're going to try and do that as we start off. That's kind of a good, safe way to stabilize our hand. And then we'll pick from that. We'll pick the different strings. Your hand needs a point of reference, and that's where this stabilizing the hand with the picking, with the pinky, tends to help. Let's try picking 4 notes on the first string, the E string. We're going to use downstrokes with our pick. You play them with me. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and steady. Now we're going to try and do the same thing, except this time on the second string. Do you remember what that second string, name of that string is? That's a B. So we're going to do 4 on the second string. So I place our pick on that string, and now we're going to do 4 strokes there. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me slow that down a little bit. Do it again. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm bracing with my pinky, and I'm picking nice and slow. Let's do a simple exercise where we play 4 notes on each of the strings, slow and steady. Don't worry about fast. Worry about getting that motor skill control. That's what we're developing here. First string is an E. Let's play 4 notes. Ready? Find it. Brace that pinky. Here we go. Play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to the second string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to the third string. Slow and even. Fourth string. Fifth string. Got to kind of reach up for this one. And the last one is the 6th string. Got to reach way up for this one. Good. See how that works? Now, let's mix it up a little bit. The first string, we're going to start on that first string. Then we're going to jump around a little bit. I'll tell you which string we're going to. We're going to start on the first string. Let's do 4 notes on that string again. Ready? Go. Now I want you to jump to the third string. Just got to find that third string. Go ahead and look at your hands if you need to. Do 4 of them there. Let's jump all the way down to the 6th string. How about the 2nd string? What haven't we done? Let's do the 5th string. And then the 4th string. Finally, let's use the string name instead of the number like I've been giving it to you there. What are the names of our strings again? Let's go through them. E, B, G, D, A, and E. Let's go backwards. E, A, D, G, B, and high E. So let's start on that low E, and go ahead and say the string name as you're playing it. Okay, so this is going to be low E. Ready? Go. E, 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 E. Now to A, 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 A. Now to the D, 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 D. To the G, 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 B. And the last one is that E. E, E. Now let's just do 2 on each. We're going to jump around a little bit. Start on that high E. This is all about gaining control of our hand. Start on that high E. You set? Here we go. Ready? Go. Just 2 of them. Then let's go to G. Remember which one is G? On the 3rd string there. What about A? Which string is that? What about B? Which string is that? D. And what about low E, the lowest note on the guitar? Very good. That gives us a good practice on our picking hand. Now let's talk about what our left hand, if you're a right-handed player, should be doing. If you're a left-handed player, all these concepts are the same, just the hands would be reversed. Let's look at your fingering hand, your left hand. Some things to keep in mind when you're having to play with the left hand, some good left hand technique things. Keep the thumb behind the neck, not on top. I don't want to be up like that. You end up using the wrong muscles for that. Bring that back a little bit. Okay? I don't need to be real tense back there. If you find that this muscle right here gets real tense, which is a common thing to happen at this point, you need to relax a little bit. Let that hand get used to holding that position like that. Keep that thumb down. You want a little bit of air space in your palm right there. You want a little bit of air space there. You don't want to come up and grip the guitar neck like that. Bring that down, and I need to have a little bit of air space there. Not a whole lot. You don't need to get too far out. Just a little bit there. We don't want to grip the guitar neck like you would a grip a baseball bat. Pretty much everything else in life, you grip with the palm up like that. That's not how we play guitar. It doesn't work very well when we play it that way. Bring that wrist down. Okay? When you fret the note, let's say I'm going to fret this 1st string, 1st fret. You want to fret the note just behind the little fret bar. You don't want to be way over here. The easiest place for you to fret it, that's going to be for you to push this down, is we're hugging up right behind that fret. Not on the fret, but right behind that fret. That's going to require the least amount of pressure. Remember how we talked about each finger has its own territory. 1st finger is going to cover everything that happens on the 1st fret on any of these strings, just on this 1st fret. 2nd finger, this is his territory. Anything that happens on the 2nd fret, the 2nd finger covers. The 3rd finger covers everything that happens on the 3rd fret on any of the strings. So the 1st finger doesn't play over here, and the 3rd finger doesn't play over here. Each finger has its place. The pinky pulls double duty. We're not going to do much with the pinky for a few sessions. We'll practice with it a little bit today, but he covers the 4th or the 5th. Now that may be a big stretch for you to get that pinky out there, but don't try and stretch it just with your hand itself. Use the thumb back here as a pivot. Hold your point with that thumb and just bring that pinky out when you need to use it. We want to play guitar with an open hand. With an open hand. This may be a little unfamiliar to you. You may not be able to stretch your hand very far, at least wide enough to hold those frets like that. If I put each of my fingers down on the fret, it should look something like that. Now this is the ideal. This is something that we're going to be going for. This may be very uncomfortable at first. Don't worry about that. Just keep trying to do it. As you do it more and more, your fingers will limber up. Okay? Remember to use your fingertips, not the flat part of your finger. We don't play like that. We use our fingertips. Okay? We're going to start going through some exercises. These are available on the website at learnandmasterguitar.com/resources. We're going to be looking at the left-hand exercises. Okay? This is the first of those left-hand exercises where we're going to use 4 downstrokes with our pick. And we're going to do a down, up, picking motion. Like on the 1st string, let's just do that without having any fingers on it. We're going to go down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Very good. Do it again. Down, up, down, up. Get used to the feel of that pick tugging against those strings. Now we're going to put our first finger on this first string, and we're going to do 4. Down, up, down, up. Ready? Play. Down, up, down, up. Now I want you to put your second finger on that first string. He's on the second fret. We're going to do the same thing. Push him down nice and hard, hugging up right behind that fret. Down, up, down, up. Here we go. Down, up, down, up. Then your third finger. Up, down, up. And our pinky. Hold that pinky down. There you go. Back to third. Second. And first. Very good. How'd you do? The whole idea with this is for control, to get your hand to do what your brain is telling your fingers to do. You'll notice sometimes as you're trying to move your third finger or your pinky, your hand kind of hesitates a little bit and it just kind of quivers there for a second, and then it'll move that pinky or it'll fire that third finger. Okay, what's happening in your brain neurologically is you don't often tell your pinky to move independently of the others. It's probably the first time you've ever done that. If you haven't played a musical instrument before, so your brain has to kind of practice figuring out how to move just that pinky without making those other fingers move as well. Let's get a little bit more practice on it. Let's go to the second string. We're going to do the same exercise. Down, up, but now we're on the second string. First finger on that first fret. Here we go. Play. Down, up, down, up. Second finger. Try and be smooth and steady. Third finger. Pinky. Back to third. Second. First. Let's do one more string. Let's do the third string. Same thing. First finger on that first fret. Down, up, down, up. Ready, go. Second finger. Get those hands moving together. Up, pinky. Stretch out there. Up, down, up. Back to third. Second. First. Now, the rest of the exercise goes through all the strings, and I would encourage you to do that. Now, let's kick it up a notch. We're going to do just 2. 2 instead of down, up, down, up. We're just going to do down, up. Okay, let's go on that first string again. Just doing 2. Ready? Go. Down, up. Now your second finger. Down, up. Third finger. Pinky. Back to third. Second. First. Good. Let's do the second string. Ready, go. First finger. Second finger. Third finger. Your fingertips may be getting a little sore. If they are, just kind of stop the DVD. Let your fingers rest a little while and come back to it later. Let's do the third string. Ready, go. Let's take it nice and slow. This exercise builds muscle coordination, but also toughens up the tips of your fingers, which we're going to need to be able to have nice and strong when we start actually playing next session. Last one, let's do fourth string. Ready, go. Down, up. Back to third. Second. And first. Okay, it's going to take a while for your fingertips to build up the tissue that they need to build up in order to handle pushing against that hard string. It may hurt. It does hurt at the beginning, but we're not, that's usually about short-lived. After about a couple of weeks, it doesn't hurt anymore. So your hands toughen up for that. Okay, let's go through another exercise. Now, instead of doing a down-up picking motion, we're going to do just one stroke on all of these. So we're going to go back to our first string, and now we're just doing one downstroke with all of these. Ready? Go. First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Man, we're going fast. Back to third finger, second finger, first finger. Wow, let's go second string. Do the same thing. Ready, go. Try and keep up. Just downstrokes. I'm bracing my pinky. And I'm trying to get my fingers to do what my brain's telling them to do. Let's skip down. Let's do the fifth string. One of these big fat strings. These are harder to press down. Fifth string. Ready, go. Pinky, back to third, second, and first. Now I want to try an alternating exercise for you. Instead of just going 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to jump around. We're going to go 1, 3, 2, and 4. 1, 3, 2, and 4. Okay? We're going to start with our first finger. Let's do 4. Back to down, up again. 4 strokes each. Okay? Starting with our first finger. Ready? Then we're going to go to our third finger. First finger first. Ready, go. 1. Now up to your third finger. Get that third finger to work. Now we're going to jump to our second finger. Up to our pinky. That one's a little bit of a finger twister as we're going between all these. Now let's do it with just 2 each. Let's go to the fifth string. Let's go to the fifth string. We're just going to do 2 each this time. Again, 1, 3, 2, and 4. Ready? Go down, up, up. Third finger, down. Back to second. Fourth. Good. Now let's go to the first string. We're going to do 1 each. 1, 3, 2, and 4. Starting on the first finger. Ready, go. Third finger. Second finger. Fourth finger. Do it again. First finger. Third. Second. One more time. Third. Second. Pinky. Very good. Now we also learned 2 chords. Let's take a look at those. Don't overly worry about the chords at this stage. Some people get all bent out of shape that they can't play the chords absolutely perfectly. Perfection is something that's going to come in a few sessions. Don't worry about perfection at this stage. Just get your fingers used to playing what they need to play and moving what they need to, where they need to move. Chords take a while. Just work on these in your normal practice time. These chords will eventually blossom as your hand strength improves. But don't be discouraged if you don't get them the first day or 2. Okay, so let's look at the C chord first. Let's review our fingering for this. On the first string, it's open. Then we have first finger on that second string on the first fret. Third string is open. Then we have second finger on that fourth string. Third finger way up there on that fifth string. Let's play those notes again. Second string, third string, fourth string, fifth string. Play them all together. We don't play that sixth string. One more time. Now your strings may be buzzing a little bit, or they may kind of sound muted. That has to do with hand strength. As you keep trying to do these, the hand strength will be able to press that finger down strong enough to get that full chord. Okay, second chord we looked at was the G7th. What do we do with that one? Well, the first string, first finger, then here's the easy part. Open, open, open. Then our second finger comes way up to the fifth string, kind of a stretch, and then our third finger goes up on the third fret on the sixth string. You got to really open up that hand a little bit. Play it all together. Very good. Now let's look at the C and G7 chord exercises. These are the bonus exercises that are downloadable. Let's work our way up to the full chords here for a minute. We're going to start out with a 3-note, kind of a baby C chord. Okay, so I'm just going to play the bottom 3 notes of that C chord. For a G7, I play the bottom 3 notes of that one, which end up being just open, open, there. That's C, that's G7. Pretty easy to do these 3-note ones. We're going to do 4 Cs, 4 G7s, 4 Cs, 4 G7s. Get a little practice on these 3-note chords. Here we go. Ready, play. Hit them all at the same time. Then we go to the G7. We're just hitting the last 3 strings. And back to that C up on that second string. Back down to the first string for that G7. Two, 3, 4. Very good. Now we're going to add another one of our notes on that, and we're going to do the 4-note chord versions of these chords. For C, it would be the bottom 4. Now our second finger has to come over. We're slowly building up to that full C chord. The 4-string version of G7, again, is real easy because we have all these open strings. So we're going to do the same thing. 4 Cs, 4 G7s, 4 Cs, 4 G7s. Ready? Go. G7. Just kind of make that pick go down through all 4 of the strings. Back to the C. Back to the C. Very good. Now I think we've warmed up enough. We're going to try those full chords. We have a 5-string C version of the C. Now, if you're not able to get that at this point, in a week or two, as you're building up to this, you'll be able to do that. So don't give up if you don't get it in the first day or two. It takes time. A lot of times we just quit too early, and our fingers just needed a little bit more time to get used to the chords. Start on that C. Ready. 5th string on our picking hand. Ready. Go 4 Cs. Another one. Another one. Another one. Now we have a full 6-string chord. We move these 2 fingers up for the G7, this one down. Then back to the C, so these 2 come back down, and this one goes up. G7. And then back to C. Let's do that one more time. We'll go a little bit faster. Ready? Go. C. G7. Back to C. G7. C. Very good. Now, chances are you're probably not able to go that fast initially. It's going to take a little bit of skill in order to be able to do that. Give it some time, though. You can become a guitar player. You just have to give it a little bit of time. Be patient with your learning process and your learning speed. It's not all going to come in the first day or the first couple of days. Give it some time. Just be faithful at it. Give yourself a little bit of time each day to do it. Let me encourage you. The goal of all this is motor skill control. You're going to need all the motor skill control you can get in the coming sessions. So just be patient. You'll be playing songs next session, but for now, we need to get your fingers used to feeling the strings and getting the right strings plucked with the right hand. A good way to start is practice about 15 to 30 minutes each day for good progress. You need to put practicing into your schedule. If you just say, I'll do 15 minutes when I get a few minutes, chances are you'll never get around to it, and this will probably be the last session you work through, and this will go on your shelf. But if you make time, put 15 minutes in, 15 to 30 minutes, 5 out of 7 days of the week, you're going to make good progress. It's never going to be convenient. You have to make time for it. But you'll find it will start being very rewarding to you the further you go on in it. Keep up the great work. In the coming days and weeks, you're going to be playing guitar like you never thought you could. I'll see you next session. Okay, in these sections, we're going to be offering you some tips to learning these materials. Every session will have this tips for learning part of it. I've walked many a student through all of these waters that you're going through now, and here's some things that I have found are going to be of help to you. Number one, do the finger exercises daily for your motor skill development. I know they're not the most musical things in the world. They never were intended to be musical. These are physical exercises. They're meant to get your fingers on your fingering hand and your picking hand firing together. Also, it will build your motor skill development so that when you want to move that pinky, it will respond to you and won't just sit there and hesitate. Also, it toughens up your muscle tissue right on the edge of your finger, which is something that's probably pretty sore right now, but that quickly goes away after about a week or two. So hang in there. If it gets sore on your fingertips, just stop for a while, come back to it a little bit later, practice another 15 minutes. You'll find that this will slowly be increasing your time that you can play. Okay, here's another secret. Develop a routine to your practice schedule. If you just wait for 15 minutes to suddenly magically appear in your schedule, if you're like me, that's never going to happen. You're going to have to kind of plan it. Take a few minutes, set it aside, maybe even a place in your house that you can go where it's just you and your guitar and your dream of becoming a musician. A little bit of time in a focused environment is better than 2 hours of noodling around on your couch. You can accomplish more in 15 minutes of a quiet place where your mind is clear, the stresses of the day have gone away, and you're able to focus for a few minutes. You'll get more work done there than you will with just noodling around on your couch while the commercials are going on. Develop a routine to your practicing. That'll be one of the keys to you sticking with it. Last thing, work on the chords, the C and the G7, but be patient. They'll start sounding better in time. Don't aim for perfection with those chords. Some guys get all bent out of shape trying to I'm not going to move on until I can get that C and that G7 just perfect. Okay, well, that's not going to come for a while. You're just starting this. That's not going to come for a while. The focus of the C and the G7 at this point is to get your fingers used to forming a chord, a solid unit. We'll wait for perfection and getting every little nuance out of every string. That will come in time. But for here, just worry about getting those fingers in the right spot and getting this strumming hand to do what it needs to do. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you next time. For every session, I wanted to give you measurable goals that you can use to gauge your progress. We're going to put this information in the You're Ready to Move On When segments. I wanted you to have measurable goals that you can go for. In the book, it gives you some guidelines, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, that sort of stuff, but it's kind of general. These are going to be more specific. So you're ready to move on to the next session. From this session, when you have memorized the names of the strings, you're ready to move on when you can play all of the finger exercises that are on pages 4 and 5 in your book with a steady down and up picking motion, with only minor hesitations between finger movements. That will come. The more you do this, that will get better. You're ready to move on when you can form the C and the G7 chords correctly. We're not necessarily worried about being able to play every note and every note is sounding out crystal clear. That's going to come in time. But I need you to be able to form the C and G7 chords correctly and be able to strum the accurate number of strings on your strumming hand. When you can do these things, then you're ready to move on to the next session where we're going to be learning our first notes and also how to read music, some very important concepts. I'll see you there.